Hi everybody, this is Joe. I'm the creator of Fathoms. I want to welcome everybody to our first Q&A session. And I want to start by saying thank you to everyone, all of you. So let's get to some questions. I want to apologize if I mispronounce your name. Lashian asks, what stage of production are you at? Prior to the Kickstarter project, I did 6 weeks that I took off from work and did the pre-production of Fathoms, which is complete now. This includes the script, the story is done, the voice recording is done, the storyboards have been made, the rough edit from those storyboards has been made, or as I call it, the boardomatic. I modeled all the sets, I modeled the characters, I textured everything, I've lit all the sets. And a lot of what you saw in the Kickstarter project were work in progress renders from those sets, just as proof of concept that I could make it look stylistically consistent in how I wanted. So all of the pre-production is done, and we're at the precipice of starting production. I'm going to take September off, and that's when I will start the pre-production full-on of Fathoms. Hugo asks, how do you choose voice actors that will suit your characters? When I'm creating stories, I try to bring these characters to life in my head and imagine how they behave physically, emotionally, how they react to things. And a lot of times I'll get a notion of what I want them to sound like at that time. For Fathom specifically, Sam is being played by my beautiful wife, Melissa, who actually is a classically trained actor and went to the Guildford School of Acting in England. And the part of Evan is played by Ben Tillett, who is actually a good friend of hers from Guildford, who she recommended and is amazing. I think both of them are incredible actors, incredible voice actors, and I think they fit the characters well. As far as Hippo goes, I don't have a cast. I don't have a cat cast yet. So we'll see. He's a cat. AJ asks if Hippo prefers shrimp or salmon. I like to think that Hippo prefers both. I think he is a cat who likes to eat, and he will take whatever he can get. Jeffrey has a really good question. This is a serious question. What do I hope the viewers will take away from the film besides being entertained, or what is the point of Fathoms? The way that I will measure the success of Fathoms is if I'm able to communicate an emotional authenticity. I want people to get caught up in the story, and I want the story to be believable. I want you to watch it and fall into that world, and not just for the window dressing. I don't want people to be like, wow, that's so beautiful, that's really neat the way that was made. I want people to genuinely become engaged in the story. And it's meant to be, it's a serious story, it's a sad story. I basically just wanted to feel genuine and people not to feel the artifice of the film, which I know is really tough as an amateur trying to become a professional storyteller. John asks if I ever think of making the story a graphic novel. I'm certainly not against it. I love comics. I grew up reading comics and I started drawing comics, or in the style of comics, people like Jim Lee. I don't think Fathom specifically I would want to make a graphic novel. There are plenty of other story ideas I have that I would like to make a graphic novel. I think when I think of a story, I generally also think of the medium I want to tell it in, because that usually affects the kind of story you tell and the way you would tell it. So I think I would love to do a graphic novel, but it would probably be a different story. Alvin asks a multi-part question. Who are my major influences in animation, art, and storytelling? In animation, I would say I was heavily influenced by Japanese animation as a child, as well as, of course, Disney. Brad Bird is an incredible animation director and just general storyteller. Iron Giant is just an amazing movie, heavily influenced by him. Pretty much everything he's done. I have a lot of influence from comics. Jeffrey Brown, who stylistically, I don't love his style, but his storytelling, it's so plain and direct that it's just incredible. Like, it's really moving without having to It doesn't feel like it's trying hard. Matt Kent, who wrote Three Story and Super Spy, those graphic novels. Live action film, I would say, has a huge influence on me. I would say specific films, maybe more than directors, but I would say Alien, it just incredible influence on me. A movie you wouldn't be able to make today. It wouldn't be the same movie. Incredible for its ability to mix, especially at the time, to mix different genres and make something better than what all of those genres were on their own. I would say Christopher Nolan is a huge influence. Him and his brother writing and directing stuff where there's a real subtlety and naturalism to it that, at least to me, is compelling. Just their ability to mix entertainment like on that blockbuster scale with really intimate personal stories. Alvin's question is, was there a specific event or moment that acted as a catalyst for my work in film? Growing up, we took a lot of vacations with our dad, and he always brought his giant news style VHS camera with him, and this is definitely before cameras were everywhere and everyone was constantly videotaping and photographing everything. And a lot of times as a little kid, I would just be bored of, while we were waiting around, traveling from tourist destination to tourist destination, and it was just more interesting to me to pick up the camera and try to find a different perspective on what was going on. And then my family growing up, especially on my dad's side, but my whole family, we just always watched a lot of movies and reading comics growing up. I've never felt like I was good at live art, performance art, but I feel like when I have time and I can kind of map out what I want to do, I feel like I have interesting, unique stories to tell. And I think film I really appreciate because it's a mass media, but I still think it can be a genuine art form. So for me, it's a great format to tell stories. And I'm very ADD. Film combines all the different things I love in a huge collage. Lastly, Kat asks, if this goes really well and gets picked up by a huge company, would I make a longer feature-length film, or is the story encapsulated in this short film? I envision the story for Fathoms being self-encapsulated, but I think it's a whole universe, this world that Fathoms takes place in, that these characters live in, and I wouldn't be against doing a feature-length film that takes place in that universe, but I don't think it would be the same story elaborated. But as a side note, I already have a story for a feature-length film that, if Fathoms is really successful, but if it's critically successful, if I feel really good about it and I'm able to rally support around its success, I think I would go forward with trying to make this other idea I have into a feature-length film, which would also be, I would prefer that it be animated, but I guess it could be live action also. And I'm looking at other ways to tell stories. I've made some applications and games for the iPhone and iPad, and I'm thinking about new kinds of storytelling, like if I made like an interactive kind of choose-your-own-adventure. I get a little off-topic there, but I think I'm not against making a feature-length film, but it would be a different story in the same setting. Or I have a lot of story ideas, so that's it for this first Q&A session. Thanks for all the questions, guys. I'm excited to get started. I'm so thankful for all your support. I'm actually going to be able to finish the film because of you guys, and in a reasonable amount of time. And I'm excited to do more Q&As with you and share the progress of production as it goes along, and share with you guys how I make it. If you guys have specific things you want me to explain how I'm doing or why I'm doing, feel free to send me an email or leave a comment down below. So welcome aboard, everybody, and thanks for all your support.